Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Replay. I am your host and heavenly voice for this episode. My name is Andy Reiner. I am joined by 3 other people. I do not wish them to be here. I think I'd do a better job by myself, but they told me I had to have 4 people, so let me get the introduction started. First off, we have Dan Reinhardt.
Hey, Reiner.
Tim Turi.
Hey, hi.
And Ben AVP Reeves.
Yep, that's me.
All right, so we're taking a look here, obviously, at Turok Dinosaur Hunter. That's probably why you clicked the article in the first place. But, and it was only a single-player game. It's published by Acclaim Entertainment, and it is developed by Iguana Entertainment.
I'd like to point out that you let that monkey get off scot-free.
And I just collected some Doritos there. I don't know if you can actually kill the monkey there.
You should try that.
Usually the wildlife you can kill and they turn into like little plus signs.
You can kill the deer. They're really easy to kill.
Right, I need you to make a explicit promise that you're going to kill any remaining wildlife.
Any monkey I see from this point forward,
or
we'll make it our
boar
priority.
thing. Yeah.
Now, first-person shooters just traditionally, they have a reputation for being terrible at platforming. I think this is maybe the worst example. It's impossible to platform in this game.
Oh, you can see there is no targeting reticles, so you just kind of gotta aim and hope for the best. I killed a deer there for you, Tim.
Thank you.
Turok's definitely not eco-friendly.
A raptor?
Yep.
He just beelined it for you. One of the classic games where you could turn on green blood mode if you're interested, or if you had parents that were not strict enough to let you have blood in your games, but were strict enough that blood can't be realistic.
Some more Doritos.
Now, a lot of 64 games had trouble with fog and draw distance. I think this has to be one of the worst examples as well. Like, just look how far in front of you. You can see it's like 20 feet, and then fog.
It lends itself well to this game, at least. Kind of like Silent Hill, masking its technological boundaries with some fog. I don't know. It never bugged me when I played it.
No, and I got a kick out of this just because you can run around and pretty much knife everyone, as you can see. Obviously, heavy units, you'd have to switch the weapon to use, but for the most part, you can pretty much knife everything in the game.
Yeah, what was it with early 90s games? Seems like you always started out with a knife. I know Resident Evil did that and a few other games. Knives were never good, though.
No, you always want to abandon that knife right away.
Yeah, you want a gun.
Or a chainsaw.
Turok, if you're a dinosaur hunter, you just stab him in the face.
That's true, he's hardcore like that, wasn't it? This was based off a comic book. I think he used a knife a lot, and his bow and arrow.
Yeah, the comic book came out in 1954. It was published by Dell at the time, and eventually became Valiant, and Acclaim bought Valiant, and thus got the rights to Turok, and a bunch of other games. Shadow Man they made based off of Valiant comics. But Valiant, at the time, was going to be kind of one of the front runners in the comic book world. They were kind of taken over for a little bit when Marvel was down, but then they just collapsed. I mean, it was one of the hardest collapses next to like Image Comics when McFarlane and those guys were there.
Yeah, I don't know how well the Turok license lent itself to.
Here's where we're gonna have trouble.
All right, brace yourselves.
You might want to bring up the control scheme. This is not a typical dual analog control scheme. This uses these C buttons.
Yeah, I'm using the C buttons. We'll include a picture of the Nintendo 64 on this replay so you guys can take a look at it. But I'm using the C buttons for all my movement here. So I'm going left, right, forward, back. I got my analog stick just for aiming.
Hypersensitive analog stick.
And platforming, a lot of times you end up looking at your black dot of a shadow and then jumping. But I'm going to try to do this one and make it look as cinematic as possible and just try to get across this gap here.
All right.
Very nice.
Start.
Yeah.
We're 2 for 2. That looks really
That doesn't even look
You can't even
possible.
jump that high.
Yeah, how?
Oh, he can. Remember, he doesn't have any feet.
Here.
No feet means
Just
he doesn't have to worry
float
about
up
the
there.
landing.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Torso jump.
I still think the only first-person shooter to get this right is Metroid Prime. You can actually platform just fine in those games, no issues. Every other one sucks.
I'd have to make an argument for Jumpin' Jack Flash or whatever the...
Oh, Jumpin' Flash.
Yeah, whatever the hell that bunny game was.
Replay
Jack
Roulette
Flash, that was a movie with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
a
shooter. Rolling Stone song originally.
whole different thing
Yeah.
than a video game about a bunny. Different. Checkpoint. Awesome.
Is that Ivy climbable?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you just make these running leaps and just... Ugh.
There you go.
I like how the whole screen flashes blue whenever you
What do
pick anything up.
Are we in a cave? Where are we? This is weird. Look at the ceiling.
It's a fog.
Yeah, you're never quite sure
It's a
where you
fog.
are in these games.
Explosive arrows here. Don't fall off the side, Reiner. That'd
Remember
be
to charge it
terrible.
back. Charge it all the way up by pulling it back.
It's done for. So that was a heavy unit. I'm going to pick up, I think, a key piece here.
This game was very, very cinematic in the way it presented its next objective to you, or like every time you got a key, it was very, very satisfying. Nothing
There was really
happens.
no intro to this game. I was surprised when I went back to this. It was just kind of a given that you ended up having to find keys, and it was okay that there was really no setup. You just kind of went into it and started killing stuff.
It's one of those from an era where you had to read the instruction booklet, otherwise you had no idea what was going on.
That's true. The story was in the instructions.
Like exclusively in the
Kill that
instructions.
monkey. Kill
Only.
that monkey.
There he is.
Oh,
Oh, he's
I
climbing
got
through
him.
the
You just
ceiling.
couldn't see it through the fog. I nailed him right in the face.
I don't know about that.
I've heard that one
was
before.
a face shot.
Now, in the remake for 360 a couple years ago, you could give raptors backbreakers, which I liked a lot.
I think that raptor actually just teleported in. Did you see that little teleporter thing? He just sort of appeared.
He did, Ben. You're quite observant.
Yeah, no, they're not pre-existing. They teleport. I don't know if they're in a spaceship. You probably end up in a spaceship in this
Space
game.
raptors, yeah.
You do, actually. There's a whole science fiction kind of tie-in. I'm going to hand the controller off to Dan here.
I'm going to be really bad at this game. I've never quite gotten the hold of this control scheme.
That's how it's designed.
Here is a
That's how you save.
save
Oh,
point.
good.
But we'll ignore
But our-
that since
Because our controller pack is full.
it is.
Oh no!
Nice.
Oh, well, here you go, Dan.
All right.
It's a cinematic death for you.
Not a whole lot of 64 games actually use the controller pack, I remember. Most could just store it on cartridge. What is this little animation?
That's how you come back to life. A little ragdoll. All right,
right.
let's see
Ha-ha.
how long you can make it here. I have a feeling you're going to die right
Ooh,
away.
okay, jump. Jumps
Oh,
on the
whoa.
trigger. What is killing
The
me?
right
hurt.
bumper, there you go.
There is the bumper. All right.
Now, I remember buying this game, and when it came out, I think it was $79.
That is way too much money.
Brand new.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Cartridge games would do that every once in a while. Like, wouldn't Donkey Kong 64 was crazy expensive. I remember some of the Street Fighter games on Super Nintendo.
Fantasy Star 4, I think, was like $80.
I remember Star Fox being super expensive, but that also came with the Rumble pack, so that was like a big deal.
You know, people complain about $60 games now, but I mean, it used to be way worse.
Well, especially since there was no standard.
Oh, good.
And the thing about Turok is it was like it was like the only action shooter game on the N64 for that whole first year. Is like among the first 10 titles for the system. So if you wanted to have a first-person shooter game on a console, like, and you had an N64, this is what you got.
But then GoldenEye came
Well,
along,
a
and
little
it
bit
was
later.
awesome.
Yeah, no one was talking about Turok after GoldenEye.
Oh, no.
I mean, GoldenEye was only like another 6 months out. It was like in
GoldenEye
August.
was 97, I remember.
Well, so was this.
Shotgun, explosive
Oh,
shells.
nice.
Yeah, explosive shells. The weaponry in this game was awesome, though. Especially later on, you get your minigun going. Minigun would just devastate.
And as the series went along, too, you got the cerebral bore in part 2.
that was the best.
That
It
was
just
awesome.
became
Yeah.
devastating. And
Basically-
some of the best weapons in gaming, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. The cerebral bore, I just run around in multiplayer maps, even if I wasn't playing with anyone. Didn't have a lot of friends at the time. I don't want to talk about that. But basically, you could just
Get the
shoot
deer.
that. It
Oh,
would shoot
Bryan.
out the little sphere from Phantasm, the movies, and just, drain someone's brain fluid.
Now, I did like how the deer was just sort of hanging out there with those two guys. The guy with the spear. He was cool with them, but as soon as you show up, he knows you're going to get him.
There's a monkey to your right.
What just happened?
Splattered that guy.
The monkey.
Fine. See, you can't kill the monkey. I'm telling you, you can't kill that monkey.
Oh, there's a
Shoot
key
that
piece.
stuff?
Oh,
Now, when
Okay.
enemies are off your plane, it becomes really tough to take them down.
Yeah, you have to use the middle analog stick, or I guess the only analog stick, to really aim, and it's not very precise at all.
I'll give you a little bit of history on the story here. Obviously, you didn't see much story set up at the beginning of the game, but as it goes along, you find out Turok must protect Earth from this lost land. It's kind of a Mortal Kombat setup like Outworld and Earth. This is the lost land in Earth. And there's a guy named the Campaigner, an evil entity, who's trying to collect 8 pieces of a weapon called the Chronoceptor.
oh yeah.
But for whatever reason, your character, Turok, who is, I think his name was
Oh, geez.
Joshua Fireside, something like that. He decided to go collect them so the Campaigner wouldn't, and obviously you know what's going to happen. He's going to collect them all, and
Betrayal.
yeah, the guy's going to get them, and bad things will happen.
Campaigner's a dumb name for an enemy.
Campaigner.
Yeah, campaigner. Wait, how is it spelt?
like you would expect with ER and N.
Remember when they had that contest for a guy who would legally change his name to Turok?
Yeah.
I wonder who that
Someone
guy
in
was.
Europe did, didn't he?
I thought it was like Texas or something.
There they are, transporting in
It's
again.
not a bad name though. If you get the name.
It's a pretty bad name.
It's hard to.
It's pretty badass.
Easy to live up to, though. You know what I mean? Considering this.
I'd rather be called Turok than one of the apostles.
And
John.
I have the same. Yeah, I have the same name as everybody else.
It's one of my least favorite things about you, actually. So you start with a shotgun. You can get explosive shells. I think one of your next weapons is going to be actually the chain gun.
Ooh.
And then if you got the Chronoceptor, that also forms like a new weapon. You'd get the Chronoceptor and it would make this huge badass ultimate weapon. That was kind of like a BFG type thing.
Yeah, there's also the atomic
What
fusion
did I just-
cannon.
And your acid trip. Your
Yeah, what
acid
is
trip
this? I just picked up like an
invincibility.
LP.
Did that-
What's going on
Did
now?
that say spiritual invincibility?
Yeah.
You're tripping.
Your
What is going
spirit
on
is
here?
invincible.
You're tripping
Oh,
balls,
look at that guy.
man.
I don't remember this at all.
Tripping balls.
Look at that. Dino dancing on the stairs. Get
Trippy
him.
Dino
Oh, this is
dancing.
awesome.
Wow, you're just missing a beat.
And there was no real direction in this game. They just kind of
Yeah.
threw you in, and you just kind of had to figure it out. Dan, if you hit the left bumper,
Left bumper.
that brings
Oh,
up your map,
wow.
and that
It's
kind
a
of helped.
huge overlay.
And
Okay.
I would
Wow.
actually use the player icon on there as my targeting reticule.
Oh, really?
Oh, hey, that's a good idea.
I'd like to point out it's impossible to hold in the left trigger while you're trying to play this game with the analog stick and the C buttons. This is really difficult.
Well, I think that you can actually set that on toggle, so.
Oh, okay.
There
Oh,
you
yeah.
go.
I think it is on toggle.
You fool.
I wish Borderlands had one of these, actually. Be kinda
Yeah,
nice.
a lot of
Yeah.
games would benefit from this. Like, even just something way,
that
way
off.
recent. Yeah, like Bioshock or something like that. Yeah,
Or
this is,
Borderlands.
You're talking
yeah.
about the map
Yeah,
overlay
the
on
map-
as you're playing.
Yeah.
Just having it as an option,
Yeah.
I think. Especially, I mean, I understand that it's not,
You don't want it on there all the time, yeah.
yeah, and that you can design a game a little bit better than to rely on that. But I had it up all the time when I played this game. I played this game a lot.
Is there a legend or anything, or do you just go where you haven't been?
You just go where you have
got
it.
it.
and
It's not
pray
showing
for
me.
the best.
Yeah. Looks like there might be a door over here.
This was a really cool compliment to GoldenEye. I remember having these be some of my first games for like between this and GoldenEye for the N64, and like you'd play your GoldenEye, it's really focused, tight, polished action, and then this was a little more open world, a little more roaming. You'd explore, find keys, find areas you hadn't seen. It had a little bit more of like that traditional 3D platformer element to it, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
And there's things in this game that you hadn't done before, at least on console, where you can go in the water and knife creatures in the water, and climb and shoot, and
Yeah.
all in first person. And it, as you can see, it moves pretty smooth, and it has a nice pace to it. Obviously, it doesn't look too great right now. The draw distance, as you guys pointed out, and the weird cloud layer that seems to disappear whenever you jump is weird, but it has a nice flow to it. You never feel like you're kind of like overwhelmed with enemies coming at you. Ammo's never an issue. You can always use what you have.
Oh, there we go.
Platforming was the problem, though. Platforming and the checkpoints and the save.
Even that, you invest enough hours, you can get past the issues with the platforming, get good enough at it that it won't completely sap the enjoyment away from it. I think overall this game was pretty well received critically. Do you remember? Did you review this game originally, Reiner?
I think I did. I pretty much reviewed everything back then.
Look at this.
Yeah, this is this
Good
one.
luck.
And notice if you jump,
I'm gonna
the
grab it.
clouds cover the ground.
All right,
Watch
Tim's
this.
taking the controller here,
Here
at
we
a
go.
very critical moment.
I'm gonna see if I can follow through on this.
No
and-
pressure.
Oh, man.
I played a lot of Turok. We'll see if I can. This was a good
Oh.
trick too. You'd look at your feet like that,
Yeah.
What feat?
jump and flash style. Well, your pretend feet.
Oh,
Bam.
nice work.
Wow.
Bam.
Congrats.
All
Keep
right.
going.
Let's see how we do here.
Unstoppable.
These guys are great to knife.
Well, I'm gonna
A
shoot
nice
him with a
variety, a
shotgun.
very nice variety of enemies, and the deaths were amazing in it.
That's
Right.
what I'll give, like, these games and GoldenEye, which we mentioned before, the death animations were so awesome, like watching a dude grab his neck and then fall as the blood spills out of his throat.
Yeah, that was so new. Yeah, if there's one thing, I mean, like I can do the platforming, I could run around and strafe, but the aiming has aged so terribly in this. Like aiming with I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, we pretty much now the standard is to aim with the right analog stick and move with the left. And I'm doing the exact opposite with this.
Well, if you remember, GoldenEye actually had a setting to where you could hold two controllers in single player, and that way you would effectively have two analog sticks.
Yeah, I remember after I found that out, I tried to come back and play Turok like that, and was just so disappointed that I couldn't do that same thing. And I think that's when this game's gameplay mechanics kind of started to age within its own, console generation. But otherwise, I mean, this is a fun game. I think this is actually held up better than I thought it would.
Yep.
Once you get used to the dated controls and the just sprawling worlds that you have no idea where you're going.
Here's some of the swimming, and you can knife the enemies down here.
And how.
And I think you will find one of the best weapon placements in the game here, which is just at the end of this.
Oh, this is disorienting.
Yeah.
All right. I got
It's
this
kinda
guy's
cool,
number.
actually.
I got his number.
And the music changes here, which is weird. It almost turns into a Flight of the Conchords
Oh, nice, yeah.
song when you come in here.
That AK-47 underwater.
That'll work fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Just
Yeah. Wipe it off.
And that's our look at Turok. Hopefully you got a lot out of it, and we'll go purchase a copy.
or
Probably
hope
not.
for an HD remake on XBLA or something.
But hopefully the series comes back. Obviously, we just had a remake, and it didn't do too well, and that might be the end for Turok, but we can always hope there's more dinosaur-killing games in the future. And now it's time for Replay Roulette. All right, all of you out there just saw what I picked out for roulette, and now let's show it to the guys here.
Tonic
Hey.
Trouble.
Surprise.
That's
Awesome.
an immediate reveal there. No build up at all. Ah,
I remember wondering if I should get this game, and I think I probably made the right decision in not getting it.
was this last week when you had to choose between Bioshock 2 and Tonic Trouble?
It was Mass Effect 2 and Tonic Trouble.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I went with Mass Effect 2.
Well, I think what's...
Good choice.
We got story.
Oh, boy.
This looks kind of like the opening
Look
of
at that.
Jumping Flash a couple weeks ago.
This reminds me of Mass Effect, actually.
Ed.
The Space Oddity Storage Room. Oh boy.
He's a Bowie fan.
It's a clean house.
What?
When you have leaf bugs all over your kitchen.
I'd be paranoid too. I'd be cleaning every day.
Is that your weapon in this game? Like a dustbuster?
Looks like a roll, or like a toilet
Whoa.
paper roll with
Whoa.
insect wings attached to it.
Seems like so many companies were just stretching for mascots back then with all these platformers.
Now, do you think
I
that
love this tie.
the old limbless technique was because it was zany and wacky, or because it cut down on animation time and... What do
Probably
you
a
think?
little of both.
Yeah.
I think Ubisoft probably thought they had a good thing going with Rayman.
Yeah.
Now, this was after Rayman, right?
Yes.
I couldn't have less of an idea what's happening right now.
Yeah, those carrots look mean.
Oh boy.
You obviously didn't spend a lot of time at college. This is a lot of my nights right here.
Yeah, that guy really likes energy drinks.
All right.
Starts out with a time challenge.
What? You start off with
Oh,
a
right off
mini
the
game.
bat.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it worked for Superman 64, so let's just do it right here.
This reminds me of, Super Mario Brothers, the penguin level.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And the Princess Castle race.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was hard.
I loved that. You
was-
get 2 stars on that, I remember. One if you got some crazy time and one for just beating it.
The crazy time was hard, though.
Yeah.
This is actually a lot like the snowmobile chase in Modern Warfare 2. I'm just seeing like a lot of
Exactly.
similarities. I'm thinking maybe that
Oh, no.
this game had been like a source of inspiration for Infinity Ward.
The plot's very similar.
That was an adorable way to get back on the level. You just came out of like a Looney Tunes hole.
Yeah, this has got the fog thing going for it too.
Still
Not quite as bad as Turok.
Still
That White
sledding.
Haze was in a
And we're in a
lot
cave.
of Nintendo 64 games.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Oh wow.
Nice.
It's not that jarring. I could live with this.
What
And
if
I did.
But
Yeah.
what if
jump.
Mario 64 had started off with a sliding part? Think about that. Instead of you coming up through the pipe, you just immediately doing a frustrating sliding part. I just feel like the immersion process changes a little bit. I'm not into this.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, for those of you wondering, like, wait a minute, this is kind of starting to feel like that AVP review that you guys did. This is Ben Reeves playing, by the way. Let's see if we can get through this.
Woohoo! Oh, you're up on the wall.
Yep.
It's like a John Woo movie.
Doves.
Without doves, yeah.
Oh boy.
I guess you could say those white dots.
Kind of like doves.
Well, what doves leave behind.
Like dove poop is what we're talking about. Yeah.
So have you failed already? I see it says 135 there.
Benny, could you do us a favor and just
I'm locked.
hurry the hell up here?
I can't use my powers.
Are we supposed to be able? Is that screen tearing supposed to happen?
Woohoo! What do I think of that?
What? This is the most awkward level design I've ever
I'm
seen.
way over my time.
Yeah,
I thought they
it's-
said this place was a garbage dump.
it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, there's palm trees in the snow.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
It's green. There's stars laying around. Let's see some platforming.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
So Ben missed out by 30 seconds on the base challenge here in the first level of a kid's game.
That's you're moving real slow, Ben.
Oh, I'm not controlling this.
Sure you're not.
The controller, it's not doing what I tell it to.
All right, now it's like a real game.
Hopefully.
Because racing games aren't real.
Who's that hot chick?
I am Ed.
That's Susie. You're Ed.
All right.
Okay, go for it.
This is back in the era where every single platformer had a million things you had to collect too. The worst was Donkey Kong 64. That was terrible about that.
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie,
Only 20,
that was
though.
pretty big.
You only have to collect 20.
Of that thing, but then
Worlds.
there's like 20 other things. I'm sure you had to
Banjo-Kazooie,
get.
at least. I think Banjo-Kazooie found the right balance.
What's this stuff? Nothing?
So how's it control so far, Ben?
Feels alright.
Yeah? Oh, someone spilled motor oil in the water? I don't...
Huh.
Man, I'm wondering if I would have eaten this game up as a kid.
Wonder how you move the
99, we would have been. How old would you have been?
camera at all?
I mean, Mario 64 came out in
96.
96.
That was amazing.
Yeah, this is not compared to that game too well so far.
It looks like it's trying.
Yeah.
Killer tomato.
How do I
Hey,
can I
attack
jump on
and
its
kill
head?
tomatoes.
Like, what's the...
Do you have like attack buttons?
Is there an attack? Huh.
Wow.
No attack.
Here, Ben, I'm going to go ahead and grab the controller just to see if you're actually that inept. Yeah, you can jump.
Oh, you'll find out.
Maybe you can jump on things. That tends to be a popular attack mechanic in platformers. It really wants me to go over here. I'm going to see if Ben missed anything. I'm hitting all sorts of buttons.
Why don't you do something over here, Tim?
Oh, look at this.
There
You
you
can
go.
you can
We
sidestep.
might have a fight here at the end of this replay.
It's brewing.
Dance off. That's what we're gonna have.
This is the least exciting opening area. I prefer that we were back to the sledding part, actually. I'm going to jump on this dude.
Do it.
The cherry?
Ah, come on.
Oh boy.
This is pathetic.
Yeah, this is.
What
Get
is
him.
your meter telling
Just
you
attack
that,
him,
too?
Tim.
I'm
There
sorry.
has to be
I'm sorry if I
different-
ever
Use the attack
if I ever
button.
doubted you, Ben. I mean, because I did doubt you.
I know you did.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I did a thing. Yeah, I get a little scribble. Get away from me. I don't want to.
Whoa. All right.
So
This
one of
is
these-
rough.
Bring both of your feet. Okay.
It's a wormhole, guys. Come on.
Hey,
Why would a platformer need this much dialogue?
Mr. Newspaper.
See, Conqueror had a bunch, but Conqueror was really funny.
If something
good.
entertaining doesn't happen within the next 10 seconds, we're gonna end this.
What? What?
Those ducks
What's on that head?
have metal skull. They look like those things from
You hate this, don't
Teenage
you?
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Mousers?
Mousers. Yeah, no, that's me
Kind
drowning
of.
to death.
Oh.
That's really
Ugh.
creepy, actually.
Maybe I should take this from you, Tim.
I don't think
I
we're
think
gonna play
you're
any more of
bad.
this game.
No, I think that wraps it for roulette. And, go back, play Turok, and do not play Tonic Trouble.
Yeah, leave this one alone.
Do not.
Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next Saturday.